Right now on this edition of Sports Talk. It is Championship Sunday. We recap the Commanders and Eagles and the Chiefs and Bills, and we'll give you a preview of Super Bowl 59. All this and more coming up on Sports Talk. Hello, everybody. A very pleasant Monday, a cold Monday here in Southern California. 24 hours after Championship Sunday, and the buzz is going as we now count down towards Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Chiefs looking to go for the three-peat. It has been over 20 years since we've seen a professional sports team win 3 in a row, and the Chiefs are in position to win their third straight Super Bowl. Meanwhile, the Eagles, who lost to this team just 2 years ago, are looking for payback, and payback is what they want. As we bring you here to Podbean, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, this is Sports Talk Championship Sunday recap. Of course, my name is Ed, and I got my boy Jesus here with me. Hoping Sean will join us as well. And partner, what's the feeling now as we head towards New Orleans?
Yeah, partner, it was a insane week of football. Road to Super Bowl in New Orleans, but we're gonna see another three-peat. It seems like coming into the Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl game in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm very interested to see is how did this happen? You know, everybody figured that. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it out the blue. I thought Washington was gonna win that one, but I guess we were proven wrong.
Yeah, most definitely. Washington came out strong in that first quarter opening drive with 18 plays, 54 yards, 7 minutes. But after that, it seems like Eagles Saquon Barkley once again.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that too. Also, we'll give you some recap. Let's talk about, let's get to the top one. So in the NFC, we had two teams: the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. I almost said Washington Redskins, but yeah, I would love them to be Redskins again, to be honest. But hey, it is what it is. But hey, it was a very interesting game. This is the third time both teams played. We know both teams split the season series, winning on each other's home floor. A couple of weeks ago, we saw Philadelphia lose to Washington, but that was in the regular season. Washington came back and won with a couple seconds left, and then Washington again. Nobody put them here, partner. Like no one figured, they were gonna beat Detroit in the divisional round. We thought they were gonna be done after that.
Yeah, I believe overall nobody before the season even thought of Washington making it this far, which it was an underdog story for them for their rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels' first year and taking them to the playoffs in so much years. That
Yeah,
might
we
have.
knew. Yeah, we knew inexperience was going to play a factor here. As we're watching, as we are going over the recap, the highlights here. Washington kind of came out strong. Daniels, a couple good passes, but the Eagles. I mean, I guess they couldn't answer the bell really quick because Washington was just moving the ball, especially here on his first possession. You see a 3rd and 5 here. You see Daniels just rose to his right and, able to find receivers, and Eckler, almost had that pass. Would have been a first down if he had it.
Yeah, he came out hot. With that first drive, I felt like Washington were gonna come out hot the whole game, but it turned down a little bit as we continue to see the highlights.
Yeah, again, these highlights are courtesy of Fox Sports. They covered the game yesterday. And again, Washington on that first possession, they went for it on 4th down. They got it, but 3rd and 2, they were not able to convert. So they actually decided to go for it. And this was a 13-play drive right here. You see Daniels uses his legs, partner, gets the first down. I mean, that was a long drive to begin with by the Commanders.
Yeah, it was a good drive, and it took 7 minutes off the clock, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, how about this 16 play of the drive, 39. Daniels finds Eckler, couldn't get the first down, but still a very productive first drive. It ends up with a 34-yard field goal. But at this moment, what was your thoughts on that first drive?
Yeah, I thought the Washington Commanders had it brewing, and they're gonna start off hot with that
That was
first
an
drive.
18 play. Yeah, that was an 18 play, 54-yard drive, and that took up about half their first quarter. But then the Eagles, they got the ball back. They wouldn't let down. Jalen Hurts, you wonder how he was after the Rams game, and Saquon Barkley, picking up where he left off from the division around his first run, gets away, and he just took it down the house. How impressive were you when they responded right away?
It was deja vu all over again. It seems like Saquon Barkley's been pretty impressive, and we've never seen reproduce type of highlights since Barry Sanders. I believe that first run was insane, breaking all those tackles to the left.
Yeah, and I think Philadelphia made the right choice by getting him, and Sean is here too, and I want to get his takes as we watch his highlights. And you see Washington on their second possession. You see the Eagles, you know, took advantage with a turnover.
Yeah, that turnover. That was a tough turnover for Washington after having that first possession with 18 plays and taking it near the red zone. That was a tough play for them.
Yeah, and then Philadelphia started taking it down the field, and again Jalen Hurts was in question because he got hurt in the Rams game last week. And you see this first down pass he finds, I believe that's Antonio Brown, or actually no, that's Smith. Man, what a pass!
Devontae Smith, yeah.
Yeah, and then here the next play on 2nd and 7, he finds Brown this time, and Brown, how surprised were you that he was able to master the sidelines like that?
Not surprised. He has talent, but he hasn't been shining in his playoffs besides that game. This game.
Barkley again here on another touchdown. That made it up 14-3. Here I thought this was going to be a runaway because they talk about this, partner. The Commanders had the ball almost the entire first quarter, and they only got 3 points. The
Right.
Eagles had the ball twice in less than 5 minutes. They put up two scores. I mean, I guess it shows that it doesn't matter how long you have the ball. You just have to score.
Yeah, you're right about that one. Because after they turned that ball around and Commanders came back with a fake punt, which was surprising.
Yeah, how about that fourth out pass? May hits it up the middle. I think that was a pivotal point in that first quarter. They didn't want to get off the field.
Yeah, because if they were turned down on downs, it would have been probably a 21-3 game if they would have scored.
How about
But
Daniels trying to make something happen, but the defense right there on the sack?
yeah, that was a big sack, 10 yard loss.
How about Brown on this one? He gets it in double coverage. Daniels finding his man. And as it goes into the second quarter, first play, here's Daniels trying to make something happen. He escapes and then he just throws it for his life. How
Yup,
about that? Very smart. Throw it away and live to fight another day, huh?
yup, and go for that safe field goal. You can't be any points in the playoffs are crucial.
46-yard field goal that cut the lead down to 8. So again, Washington can move the ball, but they just can't finish. And here we go, partner. Philadelphia on another possession. Jalen Hurts throws. It's Brown.
Once again, Brown.
And I think Washington had a problem with their deep coverage. It seemed the man was leaving the line of scrimmage pretty late, and we see another catch here.
Yeah, by their tight end. Goldberg.
Yeah, and then we see the famous Philadelphia tush push that
Of course.
everyone tries to master.
Yeah, there was a point in the game where in the fourth quarter, we'll talk about it in a bit, where they tried to do the touch push and Washington got like four straight three
Yeah,
flags.
we're gonna bring that up too, but they wasn't successful. But how about this?
Ooh,
Lloyd on third down, he gets Jalen Hurts and sacks him. Big loss
yeah,
there
big
for
sack.
Philly.
That was a big sack.
Yeah,
But it
and it
seems like Eagles still made the field goal.
pinned him deep. Jake Elliott, 54-yard field goal, and
Which he
actually he
missed.
missed it, partner,
He
wide
missed it,
right,
yeah.
no good.
Yeah, at that point, it seemed like Washington had the confidence boost
Yeah, and they
after
did, and
that.
then 2 plays later they get a first down, and then here goes 3rd and 3 later on in the drive. Daniels tries to find open man, which he does. which
Terry
is
McLaurin,
17. And look how he takes it in the house.
touchdown. That was a crucial one after that missed field goal. I thought the Washington were gonna come back and give them
Yeah,
their.
yeah, and that was the same thing I was thinking too. I mean, at the replay, he did get pressure. Give credit to that Washington lineman. They gave him time, and again, Philadelphia they're having issues, not diving for tackles and nothing. And you figure, they were going for two here, which I didn't understand why. I would just kick the extra point, but they tried to go for two to tie it up, and Eckler just couldn't get in.
Yeah, I think they were going big. I'm not sure who wanted to call that play. Maybe the coach tied it up, but they didn't convert.
Yeah, and then you see Devontae Smith in the next possession. He pretty much turns on the Jets.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts didn't really run this game because of his knee brace from the last game,
No,
which they
and
won.
I think that was a smart move by Philadelphia to not put him in that position because you want to go to the Super Bowl and any type of injury that happens here will be very very pivotal in the long run.
Yeah, crucial. I agree
But
with
he
that.
did use his legs a few times, with passes.
Yeah, to get out of it. Yep.
And Barkley, you got to credit him for bailing him out. And then you see right here on 4th and 5, Hurl's going for it all, and he hits Brown up. And I think that was
What
a,
a
a key
throw.
moment in that first half, that fourth down.
Yeah, that was a perfect throw, perfect catch. Couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, after the 2-minute warning, Hurl throws again, and how about? And I don't know about this one. I'm not sure that was a penalty right there. I thought that was just good, clean defense.
Yeah, once again, Jalen Hurts using his legs a little bit, but that penalty flag was.
Yeah, Devontae Smith was grabbed there a little bit, but I don't know about that one. And you see, they try to go for the tush again, and this time they make it. So the penalty really helped them, and they went up 21-12. And again, how about this though? I know it's a championship matchup, but you got to keep your composure, and I don't think that was wise for Washington to lose it after that.
So yeah, that was Lattimore. I'm not sure if you remember Lattimore versus Mike Evans, Tampa Bay. They had their beef. Lattimore is known for that.
Yeah, well,
You know,
that gave him that ball. They moved it to the 2 after the penalty, and they tried to go for 2, but missed it. And ensuing possession, Washington. Oh my goodness, partner, a big turning point right here, a fumble, and Philadelphia grabs it.
yeah, not very good for Washington because I believe they were gonna get the. Oh no, Eagles were gonna get the ball back, but that was crucial because Eagles had the ball in the 30-yard line, 30, 20 something.
And again, composure right here. Washington gets it with another penalty and moved it to the 10. And Saquon Barkley takes it inside the 5. And again, penalties will hurt the Commanders here in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, so ending the half, those flags were big. They lost
And
their
they paid for it.
composure.
They paid for it right there.
Yeah.
Washington gave up another touchdown, and Daniel's trying to make something happen before halftime. Complete out to the 43. They didn't have any timeouts, so they had to rush it. So 21 seconds here after an offsides penalty. Daniels tries to find somebody. He uses his legs, but he's got to get out of bounds. But he doesn't. He doesn't get out of bounds. He barely does, actually. Very, very key play
Yeah,
right there, getting out of bounds.
that was big for a couple points.
In the next
Big
play, with 10 seconds left, he finds
back there.
Eckler, and you see the hit he gives and gets out of bounds. That led to a field goal, partner. And what was your take of that first half?
It started off great, for Washington, but that a lot of turnovers, costly mistakes, in which the Eagles capitalized to end the half.
And I'm trying to see if Sean's on the chat as we watch
Bring him
this
up,
highlight.
bring him up, bring him up.
And Sean, I mean, what's your take on this game? I mean, what was your thinking after the first half?
Y'all hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that Washington Philly game, that I it was with Philadelphia having played in every week up until yesterday for the conference championship. You would think that they would be a little tired, and you guys brought it in about Jalen Hurts, of course, dealing with the with the left knee and his knee being braced up at the start of the game, but then they took that brace off. But it still didn't seem to affect him that much because he ran it in himself for 40 yards on a score. Overall, I thought the game was good. Both Washington and Philadelphia fought. Washington fought a little bit more than Philly because Philly kind of, took that dominant lead and never looked back in a way. So definitely a good game overall. And, Washington, of course, after being absent the past 4 years, having not made it in the playoffs since 2020, they showed, hey, we've got a rookie quarterback that knows what he's doing, and this is just year one for him. And even though we lost, we're going to come back swinging next year, and maybe we'll get all the way next year.
Yeah, it's been 30 years. It's been 30 years since Washington made it to the Super Bowl. It was around 1991. That was the last time they made it, and they won it. As we still continue watching seeing these highlights, Daniels actually gets them back in it, partner, but I guess it just wasn't enough for them.
Yeah, I will say this. The one part that I found interesting, Ed Hockley was the referee yesterday, and Sean Hockley, the son of former NFL referee Ed Hockley. He's a great guy. He's a good official. If he wasn't a good official, the NFL wouldn't be selecting him to work the conference championship game. But for Washington to do what they did late in the game to stop Philadelphia or try to stop Philly from scoring, and it got to the point where I forget the exact term, but it got to the point where they kept inching the ball closer and closer on the penalties with the encroachment, especially on Louvu for Washington. And Sean Hockley, when he was making his announcement, at first he's like, number 4 has been warned that if he does it again, he will receive an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And then when it keeps happening and Washington kept jumping off sides, then he goes on the mic and he's like, Washington has been warned that if this continues, the referee can award a score to the offensive team. And that is something that I don't think we've ever seen in NFL history.
No, none of us have ever seen that before. Never.
It didn't happen. But if it had happened and Sean Hockley would have made the decision to just give Philadelphia the 6 points, then you're seeing history being made on penalties in that game, with the offensive team being awarded 6 points at the goal line without even having to go into the end zone.
Yeah, that was a big gimme right there. It could have been a big gimme, and we're gonna bring that up right now. But I just want to go through this real quick here. I want to talk to Jesus really quick here before the end of the third quarter. Daniels tries to hit one of his guys, but he coughs it up and recovered by the Eagles. Jesus, how pivotal was that fumble at the end of the third quarter?
I'm not sure how they ruled it, because at first, the Commanders football player came up with the ball, but they still gave it to the Eagles possession. I guess the first ref that came in, seeing that the Eagles had the full possession of it on that fumble.
Well, I recall it was reviewed, but was still considered a turnover. So the Eagles try to clamp it on the next possession. You see A.J. Brown here on the quick reception, and then we go to the fourth quarter, and Saquon Barkley knocking his door again, another touchdown. And this is what Sean was talking about here, the tush play, where a lot of confusion here. Second and goal. They try to actually no, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. This is the touchdown that kind of sealed it right here. 41-23. Washington just tries to get back in. Their partner down 18. They try to make something happen, but nothing. Led to a punt.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't show the flags we were talking about, but Yeah, Commanders couldn't come back after that one. They went 4th and 12.
And then
Turnover on downs.
Saquon Barkley just pretty much insult to injury, another touchdown. At this point, it's 48-23. Daniels trying to stop the bleeding on the next possession here, 3rd and 6. He does find somebody open, but that's how far they can go. They couldn't do nothing. So an interception ended the drive here, as we see with 5 minutes to go. Daniels tries to make something happen. He's going to his left, but he is picked off, and that pretty much sealed it right there.
Yeah, for sure. That was game right there at that point.
Mm.
Down by 2, 3 touchdowns. 4
Yeah, and
minutes.
then it was pretty much run away after that. The Eagles just never looked back, and the final score 55-23. The most points that the Eagles scored in the history of the NFC Championship game. The most recent one was 48, and that was in the 2017 championship game that actually led them to the Super Bowl that year. The Eagles just pretty much put this away at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, definitely. After
As
that
we
fumble, it seems like they just carried it away.
as we take a look at inside the box scores here on Sports Talk, uh, Jalen Hurts, 20 of 28 for 231 touchdown. Saquon Barkley, the hero of the game, 15 rushes, 118, 3 touchdowns. Shipley gets a touchdown, and Jalen Hurts he gets 3 touchdowns on 16 carries. So he pretty much didn't have to do much. It was just pretty much the offense that backed him up, and AJ Brown, 96 yards and a touchdown. So the Eagles basically don't need to rely on one guy.
Yeah, and the Eagles actually played without their starting center, in which they had to do a few adjustments on the offensive line, but it didn't seem like that in the game that they had it under
Daniels
control.
Daniels throws for 255 on 48 pass attempts, and when you don't run the ball and you have to throw it more than 40 times, that's not really a good combination to win, gentlemen.
Yeah, most definitely not. But we gotta give it props to Zach Ertz, ex-Philadelphia Eagle, went off with 11 catches and 104 yards, but not
Yeah, he
enough.
did. He did have a fumble in the third quarter, which pretty much sealed it. But the Eagles are going to their third Super Bowl in the last 7 years, and here's a little bit of history, gentlemen. So before 2017, the Eagles have only been to 2 Super Bowls in their entire franchise. Since 2017, the team's been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 7 years, and they won one. How much credit does the Eagle coaching staff deserve for this type of turnaround? And I kind of want to get Sean's view on this. Sean, what do you think? Who deserves more credit with this momentum the last few years that the Eagles have been on?
They mentioned this on the broadcast yesterday. A lot of credit has to be given to Nick Sirianni. He has gone through so much with this team in his 4 years as head coach, taking over for Doug Peterson. In his 4 years, he's now gotten to he's gotten to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, and you know, like I said, they kind of touched on it a little bit in the post game, that a lot of the credit for post pandemic success for this team, a lot of the credit goes to Nick Sirianni for being the strong head coach that he is and powering through the tough through the tough times, especially last season, where the Eagles last year, they won like their first 8 or 9 games, and then in the second half of the season, they just went on a downward spiral and lost to they managed to get to the wild card and pick up that final wild card spot, but then lost to Tampa Bay in the first round last year, and that was a tough one last season. After being in the Super Bowl the year prior, that kind of goes along the lines of what happens to a lot of teams. They go to the Super Bowl, and then the next year, something happens on the team, and it just goes the exact opposite direction than the year prior and ends up in a downward spiral. But then 2 years later, the team rebounds, and now they're back in the Super Bowl trying to go for redemption after losing to the Chiefs 2 years ago. They're going to go for redemption this year and hopefully play upset to Patrick Mahomes, trying to make NFL history and become the first quarterback to lead his team to 3 straight Super Bowl titles.
And Jesus actually gave a good point here. I'm going to read off his notes right here. Nick Sirianni, in his 4 years as an Eagles coach, 53-23, and that's including playoffs. And I'm going to go to partner right here. What do you think about the turnaround of this program? You look at his stats, 9-8 his first year, and he's had multiple wins since. And I'm going to bring Jesus here. What do you think about the credit that Nick Sirianni deserves?
Yeah, 100% agree on what Sean said. Almost everything does. That the stats prove it. What this team has done in the last couple of years, generation type. Because Nick Sirianni was the only coach to win the NFC twice in the first 4 seasons over the last 40 years. So that tells you a lot about what he has contributed to this team. So yeah, I gotta give him props. They're about to be to the Super Bowl once again. Congrats, Philadelphia.
So Kellen Moore was had a little bit of an interview after the game. Someone asked him about the coaching style this year, what he had to say about the team.
Coaching job this year. What is something that you've learned from the season with the Eagles that you will have to go going forward?
Just been a great experience here. Obviously, working with Nick. I think what Nick does an excellent job of is leading this team from an emotional and element and leadership element, but also just the game management, how he managed the game, managed it throughout the week. Our situational football, as much time as we invest in that, he does an excellent job with it. So,
And, one thing I was wondering about Saquon Barkley, I talked about it at the beginning of the highlights, how his leg was. And, Terry Bradshaw actually asked him about that. Nick, Jalen Hurts, what do you have to say about your legs?
You had a bad leg, bub, but you seem to be feeling pretty good out there today. 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing. Nothing unexpected from you. You expected that kind of performance today. We're just taking a play at a time. I can't do any of those things without the guys around me. The preparation we put in. What a great run it's been. We got to finish it. The last time
That was Jalen Hurts from the Eagles, the NFC champion Eagles, celebrating their 55-23 win yesterday. Very disappointing for Washington. They had a great season. Some players talked about it. Let's see what they had to say.
Towards the end of the season, there was just inundated with competitions that first game next year. So I'm just very, very proud of that. Just crazy honor to be a part of that this year. Going to call.
what goes through such ways?
Yeah, so it was a call on the line. It was a check on the line that Rico had. And when we got the look, I was like, this is the look where, Nino still has to call it. I told Rico, I was like, I can kind of see, it sounds weird, but I could see, his body, he just kind of paused. He was, thinking. I was like, actually, he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. And then he did. And I was like, oh my God, here we go. I was talking with Mariota after the game. And he was just like, right, man, just trying to dive right there between 2 guys. And I go, I think it's the same guy. So,
Dan Quinn also spoke to Fox Sports after he shared his message after the loss. Let's hear what Coach had to say. Again, this was from Fox Sports after the game.
Dan, I know it's not the result that you wanted. What was your message to your guys? Yeah, I thought first thing, Tom, these are hard moments, as a competitor's life. The second thing that I said to him was savor this time with their teammates. They've created something together, this brotherhood that's second to none. Not every locker room is the same year to year. And so I wanted to make sure they took a few minutes to know what they have created here. And
hopefully that's the type of style and energy that we want to play for years to come. And it's a fantastic group. I've had an absolute blast coaching these guys, man. And so there's some real competitors. And but let's give the credit to Philadelphia tonight. NFC Championship here at their spot. We played good complimentary ball for 7 weeks. We didn't do that today.
He's been clutch. He's won a ton of football games. But you ran for this many yards. We don't care how we win. We don't care. If we rush for 300 and pass for 1 and we win, great. If we rush for 1 and pass for 300, great. Who cares? We've just continued to win. He's just continued to win. And I think the criticism is, yeah, whatever. He just wins. And I said what I said after the game, and that's kind of how I feel.
And that was Nick Sirianni. Doesn't care how you play, doesn't care about stats. All he cares about the win. Gentlemen, 30 seconds here. You can jump in if you want. What was your reaction to Nick Sirianni's statement about that?
Just a great coach, great leadership. You could tell by what he says. But as of now, he's in first place among the most coaches with the most wins of active coaches at the moment in the NFL. So give him his props, and we'll see them in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks.
And Sean, 30 seconds. What's your take on Nick Sirianni's response?
He kind of hit the nail in the head there. For a lot of teams, it's like, yeah, you get a few hundred yards rushing or passing, and vice versa. But all that doesn't matter. What matters is, do you win or do you lose? If you win the game, cool. Those stats go along with the game. If you have all those stats and it results in a loss, maybe there's something that has to be done differently the next game. But in the end, like he said, it all came down to win, lose, or draw. What was the final result at the end of the game? Do you win or do you lose?
Very, very impressive there, gentlemen. And I want to thank your opinion on matters as sportscasters as well. And again, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are going to Super Bowl 59. And now, gentlemen, as we know, a puzzle cannot be completed without the missing piece. And in this next matchup, this is the anticipated one that we've all looked forward to, the Bills and the Chiefs. We know earlier this season they both met in Buffalo. Buffalo ended the undefeated streak. Everyone figured that the Bills will win after their emotional win last Saturday against the Baltimore Ravens. You figured this would be finally the year that they go to the Super Bowl after 30 years of missing it. But again, we're playing the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. No doubt, maybe the next Tom Brady Peyton Manning rivalry here. We don't know. Well, I can tell you, gentlemen, this is one heck of a game, and we're gonna talk about the highlights real quick as they play. Kansas City, Missouri, the big game of the night. Again, Chiefs, Bills, winner to face the Eagles. First time they met since 2020. First drive, and I want to bring Jesus on here. What was your feel about how Kansas City had to answer that first drive?
It's Mahomes, and in that house advantage environment, I think they had it in the books.
But I was very impressed how they were able to just march down the field after starting deep in their territory. As we see Mahomes throws another one out to Pacheco, gets the first down here. And again, this is just in the first possession, already 5 minutes in, and they still have it. And this next play, check this out, by their running game, their receiving game is pretty much Miss Schuster. What a play that was.
Yup, Long Beach product, Juju Smith. Big play right there.
And Kareem Hunt, the former Brown, who's been wanting to go to a Super Bowl, takes it in the Chiefs partner. They answer 7-0 on that first possession.
Yup, and Kareem Hunt just got picked up in free agency in the middle of the season by the Chiefs.
And he was picked up after Pacheco was hurt, and he missed most of the season. So the Bills are already on the corner 7-0. And you see Josh Allen on their first drive, very calm and collective, Peyton Manning-like, try to find his players there. Gets an 8-yard gain on that first play.
Yeah, the Bills and Josh Allen trying to answer back on that first drive. Looking so far so good on that first play.
And Shakir here on third down gets the first down, and they go up to midfield on the next play. You see Allen goes to his left and hits him again, and How about these first plays where they get like 8 or 9 yards to set them up to keep moving the chains?
I think those are big 8-yard, 9-yard plays. But it seems like they kept completing them on the second, third down.
On 3rd and 9, Shakir got stopped, and the Bills try to go for a field goal. And how about this right up the middle? So Buffalo answers back 7-3 on that first possession.
Take 3 points rather than none.
And, they try to stop Mahomes, but they just couldn't. As on the first play of the next drive, Mahomes picks up 12 yards here, partner, and it's gonna be in his legs or his arms.
Yeah, he could use it all.
And then here, next play, Kareem Hunt gets another first down, 12 yards again. They're doing it with running the ball.
Running the ball opens up everything pretty much.
How about this quick pass to Pacheco on the left side? And they were getting near the red zone. I thought here they were going to score another play, though, but I guess I was proven wrong on his next play here. As you see, Mahomes plays Butterfingers and a turnover on the red zone. And, partner, I thought this was going to be the turning point of the game right here.
Yeah, a fumble recovery by the Bills had momentum for the Bills, and see if they would have countered back.
I want to bring Sean in here. And Sean, what was your thought on that fumble? You thought it was going to turn the tide of the game, or it was going to be just a tough test for the champs?
Yeah, real quick, you brought it up there at the start of talking about this Chiefs team, how they're able to, if they start deep in their own territory, how they can just constantly march down the field and score on usually their first or second possessions. That's just the kind of team that Kansas City is.
Mm-hmm.
With Patrick Mahomes at the helm and Andy Reid behind the headset, that's just the kind of team that they are. They are, as people are, as a lot of experts and analysts and everyone else are saying, the Kansas City Chiefs are starting to become the New England Patriots, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
with Patrick Mahomes becoming the next Tom Brady, as they all like to say, because the man's he's trying to go for a three-peat and be the first NFL quarterback in history to lead his team to 3 straight Super Bowl championships. As for the fumble recovery by Buffalo, it was definitely a surprise. That's not something you usually see a whole lot of out of Kansas City. You don't see them lose the ball very often, but when Patrick went for that quick handoff, he didn't release it. He didn't release it soon enough, and the whether or not the chill factor played any part, it just comes down to, we saw the same thing last week with the Rams against Philadelphia. Matthew Stafford had the exact same thing when he went to hand off to Kyren Williams. The handoff was just not timed correctly, and the ball ends up on the ground. Last week, Kyren Williams was able to jump back on top of it. This week, Patrick Mahomes nor Isaiah Pacheco were able to jump on top of the ball, and Buffalo was first to it.
Yeah, and then that drive led to a touchdown by James Cook, the ex-Jets of Buffalo, goes up 10-7. And meanwhile, Kansas City tries to answer back. I thought this was a turning point because Kansas City had the momentum in that fumble game, but I was proven wrong here. And I want to bring Jesus back on here. 3 plays later, he finds Pacheco, and he just dives in. So Kansas City retakes the lead after Buffalo took it.
Yeah, quick answer by the Chiefs once again. They never go. You can't never count them out no matter what.
And I'm sorry, that was Worthy that actually scored that touchdown pass. He actually dived for the pylon, and they actually reviewed it, and it still turned to be a touchdown. So Kansas City takes the 4-point lead, and Buffalo, before the half, answers back. And you see Allen goes deep on first down. He misses it, and Bills have to punt. So here we figured that the Chiefs might get points before the half. And they did. Here we look at this punt return, and how about that? He goes to the left, and 2 reasons why I show you this. It's a big play or it's a fumblerooski, but A big play, 70-yard return to the 29. How about that? 44-yard return.
I love how you just pulled in the State Farm commercial. Fumble Rooski.
Hey, it was, hey, the guy's fumbling it. It is a fumble Rooski. So Kansas City tries to get points before the end of the half, and there's a wrestle for the ball, but they gave it to the Bills in the penalty, and then Mahomes just takes it in. So here we are at the half, 21-10, and everyone figured, okay, it's going to be a blowout, right? Wrong. Let's go to the third quarter. Let's go near the end. Buffalo actually answers back, and they get a field goal, and it makes it 13-10. Actually, no, I take that back. It was a touchdown. They tried to go for two, but they missed it. So again, going for two, partner. Here was the thing: they went for two twice here. So was that a big mistake or it wasn't?
And you can't. They were just trying to cut the lead to 3 points, but unfortunately, they just couldn't convert the 2-point conversion.
But did they hurt them though? That's yet to be seen on the first possession of third. Mahomes on 3rd and 3 finds his open receiver Hopkins all the way out to the 35. And Kansas City again marching in Buffalo territory, and we've seen this. We've seen them move the ball well. Next play, Mahomes on 3rd and 11. He gets sacked, and partner, what a big sack that was. Stopped the momentum of the Chiefs.
Yeah, you need those tackles in that moment. Great tackle.
Second play after the punt, and Cook takes it all the way down to the 20. How about that run?
I feel like James Cook might be better than his brother Dalvin Cook.
He's got speed. He's just got speed, and we see a 4th and down conversion here by Allen, same as he did against Baltimore.
Yeah, I got to use his big frame.
And again, here on the draw play, takes it up to the 10. So he's using the plays he did last week, and the Chiefs not stopping him.
As they get inside the 10-yard line.
How about this on 4th and goal? They shove it to Cook, and with the diving effort, he gets in. What was your thought of that?
Yeah, great effort, and his second touchdown of the game at that point. What an effort by James Cook.
And Sean, I was asking Jesus about this. They went for two twice, and they missed it. How crucial was it to have 4 points off the board total?
Yeah, the first time around, where on the first opportunity they had, where you had the penalty after the touchdown you had the penalty that came up during it was an offsides penalty on the kick. The kick was good, but because of the penalty, Sean McDermott decided, well, I'm going to move the ball closer to the end zone, and we're going to go for two instead of keeping the already guaranteed 1 point from the kick. And, that same thing, almost the same thing happened the second time around, and they go for two to make it a field goal game, and they can't punch it in. And Josh Allen, as he was going down, tried to shovel it as a second effort, but the ball ended up dropping to the turf. In situations like that, when you have the second time was one thing, but on the first time around, when McDermott decided he wanted to move it back and go and try for two, in that situation, if you know you've already got a guaranteed extra point, why wipe it off the board and try to go for two when you could have just kept your 1 point? And that was a difference maker there, because then when it came down to trying to make it a field goal game, at that point, after that touchdown, a field goal would have tied the game instead of making it a field goal game. Or I'm sorry, it would have already been a field goal game regardless, with the second extra point, that would have already made it 24-21. But because they elected to go for two both those times, they only walked out of there with that 22-21 score, and it came back to bite them in the butt.
Yeah, and that was 4 points off the board that you mentioned that they could have used. In any event, though, as we see in the fourth quarter, Kansas City seems to struggle a little bit. Buffalo had a couple of fourth down conversions. The Chiefs finally stopped them. So on their ensuing possession, they marched down the field. As we see this pass completed to Smith-Schuster, who takes it out to the 20. And I figure Kansas City was going to get a touchdown. But again, the Bills defense tries to hold him a little bit. But Kareem Hunt gets a first down, brings it up to the 10. So here I'm thinking touchdown. But let me bring Jesus back on here. And partner, what was your thought about Kansas City in the fourth quarter? Because it looked like they struggled a lot.
Yeah, it did seem like they were struggling, but knowing Mahomes, they had it under their belt.
As we see Mahomes here on a draw play, takes it in the end zone, and the Chiefs gain a lead. And again, good play there. You see Travis Kelce leading the way, and he's had a couple of receivers there. Worthy at the end raised his hands up, and it's a touchdown. So Kansas City goes up. They try to go for two here, which was very surprising, make it a 7-point game, and they actually get it. So that was a key factor here. Now it's 29-22. And partner, what was your reaction to Buffalo? Do you feel like they answered the call every time Kansas City scored?
Yeah, it seems like they were trying their best. Josh Allen using that James Cook connection. They used each other a lot this game.
Yeah, we see right here Cook with a big yardage in Kansas City territory. You see the clock, 9 minutes and 30 counting here in the fourth quarter. We see a 3rd and 8 coming up by the Bills. Allen tries to find somebody. He goes for the end zone, and he has someone open.
Yeah, Mike Collins.
Yeah, what a pass that was.
And on 4th and goal, Josh Allen winds it up, throws it, and wide open, number 1.
How about that? Nobody saw him in the back of the end zone. Curtis Samuel, how about that? Nobody saw him too, partner. If we watched a replay, there seems to be some sort of defensive confusion on Kansas City's end.
Yeah, most definitely miscommunication on that back.
So that ties the game at 29. So now the Chiefs have it with inside 5 minutes, and there's a Taylor Swift's booby, Travis Kelce, with a first down catch. Haven't seen much of him throughout the game.
Not at all, but he was doing a lot of blocking and big catch on that fourth
Yeah, we've seen Taylor Swift, party it up there, and Worthy on a key play inside the 20. After a couple penalties, 3rd and goal, you see Mahomes tries to make something happen, and he takes a sack, which is incomplete. So that led to a field goal by the Chiefs. So it's 39-22. And I want to bring Sean here. Sean, what do you think here? You think the Bills had a chance because they stopped them?
With under 2 minutes to go, the Bills, they've done it before where they can march down the field, and at this point they had no timeouts, so they knew that they had to pull out every stop and be able to get those deep balls down the field and then run out of bounds to stop the clock and still have a chance to get in field goal range, clock it, and go for the tie if they had to do that, or if they got close enough to try and just put it in the end zone. If they got to the 1st and goal situation, they have 3 attempts at the end zone. If they can't get it by 4th and goal, then you kick it in to tie it at 31 or at 32. But just everything else that's transpired, the Chiefs defense and Chris Jones being one of the strong leaders there, the Chiefs defense was just too strong, and they were able to come up with the stop. And on that 4th and long situation, Josh Allen heaves it for
he was just throwing it for somebody.
What was his name?
Hollins or
No, it wasn't
Kincaid?
Mac. It wasn't
Kincaid.
Mac Hollins.
I think it was Samuel. I want to say it was Samuel.
No,
No, Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid. There you go. He heaved it down the field for 30 yards looking for Dalton Kincaid, and Kincaid had it as he was going for the diving catch, had it, and it went in and out of his arms, but then everybody was on their feet, of course, in the stadium because that's a fourth down stop, and they see that the ball's on the ground, so they're cheering, but then you have Tony Romo and Jim Nantz in the booth saying, wait a second, there's a flag. And I myself, I'm sitting there thinking, hold everything, this could change here, we may have something, and then the flag disappears. And now this has sparked a lot of controversy overnight, because as we all know, there are a lot of things being said when it comes to the Chiefs and the officials in the NFL. And last night was one of those situations where these people had even more reason to believe that there's something going on where Roger Goodell and the NFL are making sure that the Chiefs are able to get 3 in a row. And there was something that came up last night on that last pass to Dalton Kincaid that these fans were saying that the refs had a phony penalty ready should Kincaid have made that catch, that the side officials would have thrown, or that an official would have thrown a flag and there would have been a foul on Buffalo that would have prevented them from being in scoring position on fourth down, and then it still would have resulted in Kansas City getting the ball. So that was the big, like, at the end of the game, that's the big one that people brought up overnight. The other one from earlier in the game, the long shot to the end zone that landed a few yards short, and I think it was Pacheco. It was Pacheco and one of the Bills' defensemen.
I think it was DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, it was DeMar Hamlin and it was Isaiah Pacheco. They're fighting for it in the air. They both come down and the ball clearly hits the turf. And at first, I'm watching the game. I'm thinking DeMar Hamlin's just picked this off in the air, and now the Bills have it just in front of the end zone. But then you look at the replays, and originally Kansas City was able to go down there and make the play, or make that first play at first and goal. But then it was shown that Sean McDermott had thrown the challenge flag prior to Kansas City getting the snap off. And you see clearly the edge. It wasn't huge, but there was enough there where the edge of the football hits the turf while neither guy had full possession. Therefore, it should have been ruled an incomplete pass, and it should have gone back to the original line of scrimmage. Instead, while in the commercial break, and the replay official at the stadium and the officials in New York, while with Clete Blakeman, the referee, while they're all talking it over, somehow somebody in either the replay booth or from New York came back and said, no, that's a catch. Give it to Kansas City. When clearly everybody watching it at home, the broadcasters, Gene Steratore, former NFL referee and rules analyst for CBS, and even the Bills fans and the Bills team watching the screens in the stadium, everybody could see that ball had hit the turf, and it should not have been ruled a catch, but it was ruled a catch in favor of Kansas City. So there you have another controversial call that favored Kansas City, and then they end up getting in the end zone after the replay. So yes, there's a little bit of back and forth to be said there, where maybe some people now have a legitimate gripe that there might be something to be said where the referees aren't calling penalties or making decisions that would affect Kansas City, but rather they make more calls and throw more penalties against their opponents that then allow Kansas City to win those games. So I don't know. I mean, maybe either one of you guys kind of have that same thought process. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
would
I'm
think
not
that
going to go on
too.
a tirade about it. I'm not going to be one of those people that are like, "Oh my God, the NFL is rigged. The Chiefs are the NFL is
Actually, I got
rigged to where
people that are already saying that to me, bro. I already got people telling me that already.
yeah, it's just one of those things that it controversial, yes, in the end, and they even said it on the post game show the one of the analysts said it on the post game show
The NFL today.
that you if you're going to be one of the people that are like, oh no, the NFL is rigged and the the refs are calling phony penalties to make sure that the Chiefs win, or not that, I'm sorry. The guy had said, um, don't be that person that's like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of seeing Kansas City always winning and getting into the Super Bowl. Just realize that in today's world, as an NFL fan, as a football fan, you are watching history in the making, because should Kansas City go on to win in 2 weeks, they make history by being the first team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row. And like the analyst said last night, be the person that's like, oh wow, I'm actually alive to witness NFL history. This happened during my generation. One of those things.
Yeah, because you look at the generation now. I mean, when I was growing up, I grew up to Manning. I'm sorry, I grew up to Montana, Young, Elway, Favre, Marino. In the 2000s, it was Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Big Ben. You look at now in the 2010s, 2020s, it's Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Birdie. You look at these other young quarterbacks, so it's changed a lot. But yeah, even CJ Stroud said after the game last week, after losing to Houston, that he felt that it was the calls were against him, and that brings us up to Sports Talk's drive of the game. So after getting a field goal, the Bills, guess what? They just need a touchdown to tie it to win, or field goal. So Allen wants to eye it on the end zone, and here on second down, he runs it, gets the first down, and still plenty of time. He still has all his 3 timeouts. He's thinking touchdown here, but a couple plays later on 3rd and 10, the Chiefs bring in pressure and they crowd the line. Amari Cooper, who came in to trade, got a touch there, but didn't much. So here we go. 4th and 5, the play of the game. They come for Allen and he just throws it up, as Sean said. Looks like that was intended. Looks like for 86 and 13, and there was a penalty marker, but then it was rescinded. But and I'm gonna bring Jesus here. Did you think that was a late hit on Allen?
Oh no, that's tough. Nowadays they could call that any time, but I think that catch was catchable for Delta and Kincaid. I just seen another camera view of just him not being able to catch that one.
So now the Chiefs just needs a first down to run out the clock, and they're gonna go to the Super Bowl, and that's what happens here. Mahomes hands it off, passes it to Pacheco, who runs over a Bill. Hamlin tackles him, but way beyond the line of scrimmage. And here on 3rd and 9, they try to at least get one more hope. Mahomes finds Hunt, and first down, and game sealed. That's it. And the Chiefs are now celebrating as they win the AFC Championship, and they're going to their 3rd straight Super Bowl, 32-29. And I gotta say, hands down, this was the best game of the playoffs. This was the best game everyone was looking forward to, but unfortunately, we didn't get the result that we wanted. Even they were showing the Bills on having a watch party in Buffalo, and I'm sure they're really sad. Josh Allen, 22 of 34 for 237, 2 touchdowns. He played a great game. James Cook had an excellent game as well, 13 carries, 85 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. And Mac Hollins leads with 3 catches for 73 yards. So the offense did their best, just wasn't enough. And Patrick Mahomes, his numbers, 18 of 26 for 245, 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 17 carries, 64 yards, 1 touchdown. But Mahomes was the MVP on the leg, 43 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. As the Chiefs beat the Buffalo Bills to avenge that Week 9 loss. But for the second time, he beats them in the AFC Championship game. So there we go. There you go. We have the matchup set. It's Eagles and Chiefs. And let's just hear from some of the winning players, starting with DeAndre Hopkins.
Very familiar place. You have done it again. How does it feel?
Winning feels great, man. Winning on the highest level always feels amazing, man. Feels good. A lot of adversity thrown through us throughout the year. Just all the obstacles, players going down, injuries, and just the adversity we had to overcome throughout this year. What makes this year so special for us?
We've had the same conversation. You said the same thing last year, yet you're going back to the Super Bowl again. How do you guys manage to find a way and get the three-peat?
It's a formula, man. Getting everyone to buy into the team goals, getting everyone to put their best effort forward and see where it gets us. And God is looking over us, man. Thank God for Coach Reed, the Chiefs organization.
What's your favorite part about this organization?
My favorite part about this organization is, man, this city, Kansas City. You know, it's one of the best sports cities in America. You know, they're passionate, they travel. But outside of that, you know, how things are ran from up top to down low. You know, we got the best player in the world, Patrick Mahomes. So,
what was the key tonight to stopping Josh Allen in the Bills?
I was praying a lot to God. All the glory to God, I tell you that. I'm not sure we really stopped him. I mean, we made a couple of key plays. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a gut check when you go against him. He rose up and made a play we had. I think that was the most important.
What does it mean to have a chance to win 3 straight Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't know if that part sunk in yet because we just happened to get the LeVar Hunt Trophy, especially for, you know, Clark, the Hunt family, here in Arrowhead with all these great people. But I think I'll just worry about that right now. I'll worry about the other thing later.
People were thinking, well, maybe I'm down here for the Bills, reset year, you heard all that stuff. But when you get this close, none of that, how much of that even matters when it comes to how successful you view this season?
Yeah, you can either get it done or you can't. We didn't get it done. Until we watch it, I'm not quite sure, but the result is a loss. And so, to answer your question, not good enough.
Josh, despite the heartbreak, you know that when you touch down probably in a few hours, there's going to be a sea of people waiting there for you. The idea of Western New York and them riding on this, what are your thoughts on this fan base?
They're the best, but we just want to get it done, and we haven't been able to.
Super Bowls, they've been to 7 straight AFC Championship games, and that's no excuse. This is a good football team. We got to keep working to get over that hump. There's no doubt about it. So we've won a lot of tough games this year against really good opponents, really good coaches, and I'm proud of this football team for it. So this is you know, obviously a challenge for us. We'll figure it out.
All right, as we go inside some stats here on Sports Talk, Patrick Mahomes in his NFL career, since he took over in 2018, he's been to the AFC Championship game now 8 times. He's been to the Super Bowl 4 times now, 5 times. He's won it 3 times, but now he's going for his 4th overall and his 3rd consecutive. Not even Tom Brady was able to do that in his playing career. He did achieve a dynasty, winning 3 of 4, but that was the closest we've ever seen a three-peat, and we haven't really seen much since that. And again, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the last time the Lakers were the last team to win 3 in a row from 2000 to 2002. Let's see about Patrick Mahomes' reaction after the game.
Hey, coverage, just use your feet, get the first down.
Did you get any sense coming into this game you would run for more yards, more touchdowns?
I didn't know that. Not necessarily. They always give me options to kind of pull the ball and run it, and they were playing man coverage a lot of the day, and they were putting a lot of attention on Travis. And so them kind of that pushing that safety and pushing at your linebackers to Travis, it opened up different lanes for me to run, and I was able to run the football. And I pulled some of those reads that I've had all season long just because it's playoffs, and you have to make sure that the defense is true to what their rules are. A ton of trust in my coach Reed to give me the football and let me have a chance to throw the ball. It helped that they called timeouts, and I mean, obviously they had to, but it gave me time to talk with the coaches, get to the play that we wanted, stuff that we had talked about the night before the game, and was able to know that if it wasn't there, just take the sag, run forward as much as you can, let the clock run, and it's a lot of trust, and it comes from a lot of experience in those moments. And Samaje with a big time play, I haven't seen it yet because I got to get to the Super Bowl, and I don't take it for granted. And to be able to do it again at Arrowhead was special. I mean, last year it was awesome. You get there and you win it, but you're at a different stadium, and then being able to win it at Arrowhead, and then you get that trophy on that stage, and you look around, and there's not a seat empty. It is a special place, and I'm glad that I get to be a part of Chiefs Kingdom and here in Kansas City because
Now it's Patrick Mahomes. And gentlemen, as we wrap up the show here, what are your final thoughts on Championship Sunday? Sean, let me go first. You first.
I'll go first since Sean's off the picture. Gotta give credit to Patrick Mahomes. I thought after seeing Tom Brady retire, I don't think another team was able to do this type of achievements, historic achievements. So then one more thing, I just feel horrible for Burrow, Lamar, and Allen. They're basically playing during the Jordan era. So pretty much if Patrick Mahomes wasn't there, I feel like it will be between those three quarterbacks. But great effort. Congrats to the Kansas City Chiefs once again.
And Sean, I don't know if you're still with us. What's your take on your recap or what you think about Championship Sunday now that's over?
Yeah, look, I'll add this as sort of a final thought. You had brought up the last play for Josh Allen and how he took that hit on fourth down. Could it have been called roughing the passer? Sure. Was it? No. I think, knowing the history, had it been Patrick Mahomes that had taken that hit, would it have then been called? More than likely, yes. But in the end, it was a non-call, and the Chiefs went on to win the game, and Patrick Mahomes wins his 7th AFC Championship game in the last 8 years, and he's on to his now 4th Super Bowl appearance in his 8-year career. And to be quite honest with you, when it boils down to things, this Chiefs dynasty that is coming about in today's world, I think we're going to see this play out for many years to come. This may be year 8 for Patrick Mahomes, but he's not done. He's still got a long road ahead of him. And I think the only way this Chiefs dynasty really comes to an end is one of two things. You see Andy Reid retire, or Patrick Mahomes goes to a different team. And those are the two things that I think it really boils down to where you would see this Chiefs dynasty, really finally crumble and teams finally be able to get a hold of them and really have a chance themselves to be put in that position to not see Kansas City in the Super Bowl every year.
Well, I'll say this too. I mean, Jesus brought this up. No one thought we were going to see what Brady did. No one thought we were going to see all this again. Everyone figured when Brady retired, they say we're never going to see this again. You're never going to see the game the same, the way he played it. But it's wrong. I feel like we're seeing it now. We got these young guys, as Jesus mentioned. This is like the Jordan era right here. Mahomes is a Jordan. And you got guys like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Still in their primes, still got a lot of years in, and I think they can make a run at the dynasty. As far as if this dynasty win, only one word: defeat. You defeat this team, you win the dynasty. And that's something that the Eagles are going to face the challenge. And just really quick here, I'm going to say for Super Bowl 59, who wins, I think the Eagles will upset the Chiefs. We saw what happened 2 years ago. It was on the referee's shoulders. I think it's going to be different. Jesus, who do you think is going to win Super Bowl 59?
I have, fortunately, the Philadelphia Eagles winning this. But there's a saying, never bet against Tom Brady. I say the same thing against Mahomes, never bet against Mahomes. But we'll see. Who you got?
Sean, who you got?
I'm gonna make it a clean 3 of 3. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Philadelphia. Like you said, we saw what happened 2 years ago, and a lot fell on Carl Schaefer's, who was the referee 2 years ago. This year we have Ron Torbert, and if you look back a couple of years back, Ron Torbert was the official who gave Kansas City that infamous third down do-over, and then against Cincinnati, and then flagged Cincinnati on fourth down when Kansas City couldn't convert. Another controversial situation there. Of course, this is the Super Bowl, and this is Mr. Torbert's second Super Bowl in 5 years or 4 years. He was the referee for Super Bowl 56 back when the Rams beat Cincinnati. Could it be a different outcome this year? Sure. Any officiating crew in the Super Bowl is different every year. You have a different referee every year, and but I think Philadelphia learned from their mistakes 2 years ago. They know what they're up against. They know who they're up against in Patrick Mahomes. And I'm expecting a battle in 2 weeks. I am expecting a battle, and I think Philadelphia is going to come out on top.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup. Hopefully the officials don't get involved in this and that we just have a good, clean game against Super Bowl 59. Will be February 9th in New Orleans. That game's going to be shown on Fox. But go ahead and stay with Sports Talk. We're going to give you the latest updates and the latest news as we start heading towards Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Gentlemen, great show today. I'm glad you both came on. This was the best show we've done. I thank you both. Love you both, and can't wait till we do this again. Again, congratulations to the Chiefs and the Eagles. We wait for your anticipated matchup in 2 weeks. Stay with Sports Talk here. We're going to have some good things coming up. And gentlemen, what would you like to say before we go off the air?
Another great show once again. Appreciate you. Appreciate Sean for coming in. Ready for Super Bowl. Congrats to the Philadelphia and Kansas City Chiefs.
Mirroring Jesus, it's always a pleasure being on the show. I enjoy the hell out of it, and we have a lot of fun. Tonight is like you said, tonight's one of our better shows that we've ever done, and I'm only expecting it to get better as time goes on. Philadelphia, Kansas City, in 2 weeks, Super Bowl 59 live from the Caesar Superdome in New Orleans, and we will have some coverage, probably not game day, but I know we'll have either that pregame or that postgame or both.
Or the party. Or a party.
But yeah, everybody stay right here on Sports Talk. You're going to have some fun.
And partner, go ahead and wrap it up with the famous line that we always say at the end of each show.
Another day, another podcast.
All right, that's right. Sean, Jesus, thank you so much. This is Sports Talk. I'm in. Thanks for watching us, you guys. If you missed the replay, it'll be up on our app, Podbean, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Go ahead and tell your friends to listen, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time here on Sports Talk.